Have you ever wondered if being too nice is the very thing that's been holding you back your entire life? We're told from the very beginning that kindness is everything, that being good, being agreeable, being soft will somehow lead to happiness. So you smile when you want to scream, you stay quiet when you should speak up, you keep the peace even when it's destroying you. And you call it being a good person. But deep down, there's a war going on. You feel yourself shrinking. You give and give, hoping someone will notice, hoping someone will return the favor. But all you get is exhaustion, resentment, emptiness. The truth is, being nice isn't always noble. Sometimes it's just fear in disguise. Fear of being disliked. Fear of conflict. Fear of rejection. So you play small. You avoid the hard conversations. You let people cross lines they shouldn't. And every time you do, you trade a piece of your voice for someone else's comfort. That's not kindness. That's self-abandonment. And it's killing your confidence. The world doesn't reward people who stay silent. It rewards people who know who they are and aren't afraid to show it. Somewhere along the way, you have to decide, do I want to be liked or do I want to be free? Letting go of the need to be liked is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most liberating. When you stop living for everyone else's comfort, you start discovering who you really are. You stop apologizing for your truth. You stop watering yourself down to fit in. You begin saying no without guilt. You set boundaries without shame. You walk away without explaining. People might call you cold, rude, arrogant. Let them. Because the moment you choose yourself, you start attracting people who respect you instead of using you. That's the real shift. That's when life begins to feel lighter, clearer, stronger. Being nice at the cost of your soul isn't compassion, it's codependence. And no one wins when you play that game. So if you've ever been told that protecting your peace makes you selfish, that choosing your truth makes you toxic, hear this now. You're not wrong for wanting more. You're not wrong for outgrowing what once felt safe. And you are definitely not wrong for refusing to play small anymore. That's not arrogance, that's awakening. Stay with me, because what's coming next will shake everything you thought you knew about being good. This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming whole. It's about learning how to stand tall in a world that profits off your silence. If you've ever felt torn between being liked and being real, this is your moment. The lessons ahead might seem hard, even brutal, but they'll set you free. And by the end, you'll understand the things they call toxic might be the very things that finally bring you peace, power, and purpose. Keep watching. Your life is about to change. You've been taught that putting yourself first is wrong, that it's selfish, that thinking about your own needs somehow makes you a bad person, so you give everything to everyone else. Your time, your energy, your love. You leave yourself last on your own list. And when you finally break down, when you're exhausted, drained, and empty, you wonder why no one shows up for you the way you show up for them. It's because you taught them that you don't need anything. You taught them that you'll always be there, no matter how they treat you. You trained the world to believe that your needs don't matter. But they do. They always have. Putting yourself first doesn't make you selfish. It makes you sane. It makes you strong. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't save everyone else while drowning in your own life. Choosing yourself isn't a betrayal. It's a beginning of a life where you matter, where your peace matters, where your goals, your rest, your healing, your voice all take center stage. It's not about neglecting others, it's about remembering you. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you permission. That's your job, and the sooner you take it seriously, the sooner your life changes. You have every right to protect your time, to say no, to rest without guilt, to dream without limits. You are not a machine built to serve others at the cost of your own soul. You are human, and your needs are sacred. Stop apologizing for not being available to everyone all the time. Stop feeling guilty for doing what feels right for you. This isn't selfishness. This is survival. This is self-respect. The world won't always clap for your growth, but your future self will thank you for every moment you chose your own peace over someone else's expectations. Self-prioritization isn't cruelty. It's clarity. The more you start honoring your needs, the more you'll notice who gets uncomfortable with your boundaries. And that discomfort, that's not your responsibility. That's just truth revealing who respects you and who only benefits from your lack of self-love. Let it reveal. Let it fall away. What stays after you start choosing yourself is what's real. And what goes? That was never love. That was convenience. Your worth isn't measured by how much you sacrifice. It's measured by how deeply you honor your own existence. So ask yourself, What would your life look like if you stopped trying to please everyone and finally pleased yourself? What would change if you saw self-care not as a luxury, but as a responsibility? What could you become if you stopped shrinking for others and finally stood tall for you? Stay here. Don't look away. Because this is the moment your life begins to shift. And the more selfish you become in protecting your peace, your purpose, your future, the more whole you'll finally feel. This is not the end of compassion. It's the start of your liberation. When you finally choose yourself, something strange begins to happen. You start to see people differently. The ones you once called friends begin to feel heavy. The conversations feel shallow. The effort feels one-sided. And the truth begins to rise. Some people were never really there for you. They were there for the version of you that asked for nothing, that never said no, that never needed too much. And now that you're changing, they resist, they guilt you, they shame you. They tell you you've changed, as if that's a bad thing. But growth always reveals what was never meant to stay. There's a belief that cutting people off makes you heartless, that loyalty means tolerating pain in silence, that history is more important than peace. But what if letting go isn't cruelty at all? What if it's clarity? The truth is, not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone is built to walk beside the version of you that refuses to settle. And it's not your job to drag them with you. You're not responsible for fixing others at the expense of breaking yourself. You owe no one permanent access to a version of you that no longer exists. Letting people go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing your future over your past. It's realizing that love without respect isn't love. It's control. That presence without support isn't connection. It's convenience. When you stop chasing people who make you question your worth, you start attracting the ones who never ask you to prove it. And that shift changes everything. Your circle gets smaller, your energy gets cleaner, your mind gets quieter, and your soul starts to breathe. Stop waiting for closure from those who never gave you honesty. Stop explaining your healing to people committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to justify your growth to anyone. Walking away isn't abandonment when you're the one who's been abandoned emotionally for years. It's not betrayal when you've been betrayed with silence, indifference, and manipulation. You are not obligated to carry the weight of someone else's unhealed wounds. You are allowed to choose lightness, peace, truth. It will hurt. The loneliness will come. Doubt will whisper. But so will freedom. So will peace. So will the unshakable power of knowing you are no longer available for relationships that drain, diminish, or distract you. And as that pain fades, something beautiful takes its place. Clarity. You begin to trust your own voice. You begin to recognize real love, real connection, real alignment. And you begin to realize that peace is worth more than proximity. That love, if it costs your sanity, was never love. Let them say you've changed. Let them think you're cold. Let them walk away. If losing them means finding yourself, it's not a loss. It's a gift. You are not here to keep people comfortable. You are here to become. And some chapters can only begin once you stop rereading the ones that already broke you. This is your permission to move on. Completely. Unapologetically. Forever. There's a part of you that's been taught to fear your own anger, to bottle it up, to hide it, to suppress every wave of emotion that doesn't look soft, calm, or agreeable. You were told that anger makes you difficult, that it makes you ungrateful, that it makes you dangerous. So you smile through disrespect. You stay silent through betrayal. You endure what breaks you just to keep the peace. But here's the truth you were never told. Anger is not your enemy. It's your alarm. It's your compass. It's the voice of the part of you that still remembers you deserve better. Your anger knows when a boundary has been crossed. It knows when your worth is being dismissed. It knows when your silence is being mistaken for weakness. That feeling in your chest, the burn in your gut, the tension in your jaw. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's your soul reminding you that you're alive, that you're not here to be stepped on, overlooked, or dismissed. The world doesn't need you to be less angry. It needs you to learn how to use that fire without letting it consume you. Anger is energy, and like all energy, it can be transformed. Not into rage, not into destruction, but into action, into decisions, into unshakable clarity. The most powerful changes in your life will come the moment you stop apologizing for your feelings and start listening to what they're trying to tell you. Anger doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you honest. It makes you human. And when channeled with purpose, it becomes the fuel that breaks cycles, ends patterns, and builds boundaries where none existed. Stop fearing the parts of yourself that feel too loud, too intense, too much. Those parts have protected you in silence for far too long. You were never meant to tolerate everything. You were meant to feel, to speak, to push back when something isn't right. And no, not everyone will like that version of you. But that's the version that's real. That's the version that finally honors your truth. You don't have to explode to be heard. You don't have to burn bridges to walk away. But you do have to stop pretending that being unaffected is strength. Real strength is feeling the fire and learning how to aim it. It's not suppression. It's self-respect. It's using your voice not to destroy, but to declare, I matter. My boundaries matter. My peace matters. This is your reminder that anger isn't a flaw to fix. It's a signal to follow. Don't let the world convince you that silence is grace. Don't let anyone teach you that calm at all costs is maturity. Let yourself feel it. Then let that feeling move you. Not toward revenge, not toward chaos, but toward power, toward clarity, toward a life where nothing gets buried and everything gets healed. This is where your fire becomes your freedom. Power isn't something you wait for. It's something you decide to claim. And the moment you stop asking for permission to exist fully, your life begins to shift. You've been conditioned to wait. Wait to be chosen. Wait to be noticed. Wait to be told you're enough. But the truth is, the longer you wait, the more life passes you by. No one is coming to tell you you're ready. No one is handing you the courage to begin. You must take it. You must own it. You must become the version of yourself that no longer waits for acceptance to start living fully. The world rewards those who take up space, who speak with conviction, who move like they belong, even when they feel uncertain. Confidence isn't born from waiting until you feel worthy. It comes from acting like you already are. It comes from showing up before you're perfect, from choosing yourself even when others don't. And it grows every time you refuse to shrink in the face of fear, every time you rise instead of retreat, every time you bet on yourself when no one else does. You will be judged. You will be misunderstood. But that's not your business. What people think of your healing, your growth, your choices, that's their lens, not your truth. You do not owe the world your smallness just because it's more comfortable for others. You were not born to dim so someone else can shine. You were born to expand, to evolve, to live in the full volume of your truth. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not danger, it's direction. It's a sign that you are stepping into something new, something greater, something aligned. Stop looking for signs and start becoming one. Be the proof that choosing yourself isn't selfish. Be the reminder that loving your boundaries is not bitterness. Be the example that healing loudly is not weakness. It's power. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You are the right moment. And everything you're waiting for already lives inside you. It's not a matter of worth. It's a matter of will. There's a version of you that exists beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the lies you've believed about yourself for too long. That version is not out of reach. It's simply buried under layers of silence, hesitation, and pretending. But the more you choose to move anyway, speak anyway, show up anyway, the closer you get. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to stop holding yourself back. Start before you're ready. Begin while it's messy. Trust yourself while you're still becoming. This is your life. No more waiting. No more shrinking. No more asking for permission to be the person you already are deep down. Decide today that your voice matters, that your path is valid, that your presence is powerful, and that you no longer need to wait for the world to see it. You're here now. It's time to rise. There is a version of you that's been buried under expectations, under guilt, under the weight of who you thought you had to be. That version is not lost. It's waiting. Waiting for you to stop living your life by someone else's rules. Waiting for you to release the fear that's been dressed up as responsibility. Waiting for you to stop performing for approval and start showing up for truth. You were never meant to spend your life pleasing everyone but yourself. You were meant to be whole, not hollow, free, not filtered, alive, not just surviving. But to become that version, you have to let go of the mask. Pretending is exhausting, smiling when you want to scream, nodding when your soul says no, agreeing to things that chip away at your spirit just to keep the peace. But the truth is, peace built on pretending isn't peace. It's a prison. And every time you shrink, you reinforce the lie that your real self is too much. But it's not too much. It's just unfiltered. It's honest. It's the self that's tired of playing small so others feel big. That self doesn't want perfection. It wants permission to be messy, to be loud, to be free. Your authenticity is not a liability. It's your power. It's the part of you that disrupts, that awakens, that inspires. It's not supposed to make everyone comfortable. It's supposed to make you real. And the moment you stop editing your soul for acceptance is the moment you find true connection, not with the world, but with yourself. Because the relationships that require your mask aren't relationships, they're roles. And you weren't born to play a part. You were born to live your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. The greatest betrayal is abandoning yourself to be liked. Because no amount of applause will ever be enough when you're clapping for a version of you that doesn't exist. But when you choose to be real, something beautiful happens. The right people find you. The noise fades. The weight lifts. And for the first time, you breathe without bracing. You speak without rehearsing. You show up without shrinking. That is what freedom feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, just honest, just yours. You don't need to be everything to everyone. You only need to be fully yourself to the few who see you clearly. Let the rest fall away, not out of bitterness, but out of alignment. Let go of who you had to be to survive and become who you were meant to be to thrive. There is no reward for being invisible. There is no prize for pretending, but there is peace in truth. There is power in honesty. There is life in authenticity. The world doesn't need another perfect image. It needs your real, raw, unfiltered truth. This is your permission to show up fully. Not later. Not when it's easy. Now. Because the real you isn't too much. The real you is finally enough. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken because your timeline doesn't look like someone else's. Stop measuring your worth by what hasn't happened yet. Stop letting the illusion of urgency make you feel like you've failed. Growth isn't a race. Healing isn't a straight line. And becoming who you're meant to be doesn't come with a deadline. Real transformation is quiet. It's slow. It's often invisible. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. You are evolving every time you choose to try again instead of giving up. You are moving forward every time you say no to what once destroyed you. There's a toxic pressure in this world to be fast, to be flawless, to always be achieving. But you were never meant to hustle your way into self-worth. You were meant to grow roots so deep that no storm can shake you. You were meant to rise at your own pace, not sprint just to keep up with people who don't even know where they're going. Life isn't about arriving, it's about becoming. And there is no behind when you're building something real. Let go of the shame for not being further. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're tired of pretending. You're tired of forcing. You're tired of chasing a version of success that was never meant for you. The exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's your soul asking you to slow down and live on purpose. To stop checking boxes and start choosing meaning. To stop doing more and start becoming more. You're allowed to rest without guilt. You're allowed to breathe without apologizing. You're allowed to grow slowly and still matter deeply. You don't need to prove your value by being endlessly productive. You prove your value by existing, by healing, by waking up every day and choosing to be a little more of yourself. That's what real progress looks like. Not perfection, but presence. Not speed, but sincerity. The milestones that truly matter won't always be visible. No one claps for the day you finally forgave yourself. No one celebrates the moment you stop needing validation. But those are the shifts that change your life. That's the kind of growth that can't be captured in a post or praised by strangers, but it's the kind that frees you. And once you learn to honor that kind of progress, you'll never chase surface-level approval again. You are not falling behind. You are being shaped. Every quiet choice you make in the dark is preparing you for something real. Trust that. Trust yourself. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you're still showing up, and that's enough. You don't have to rush your way into peace. You just have to stop running from yourself. Stay present. Stay patient. Your path is not theirs. Your timing is not off. It's yours. And it's exactly where it's supposed to be. Your peace is not a luxury. It's not a reward you earn after proving yourself. It's a right, but most people aren't taught how to protect it. They're taught how to tolerate chaos, how to adapt to dysfunction, how to smile while crumbling inside. And slowly, you start to believe that peace is something that lives outside of you, something you find in the perfect moment, the perfect person, the perfect life. But real peace isn't out there. Side. It's built in the choices you make every day. It's the result of what you allow, what you accept, and what you finally decide to walk away from. You can't create peace while staying loyal to what constantly disrupts it. You can't protect your energy while entertaining everything that drains it. And you can't feel whole while clinging to the things that break you. Sometimes the most powerful act of healing is not fixing what's broken. It's letting go of what's not yours to carry. You don't need to carry every burden. You don't need to explain every decision. You don't need to stay just because you once said yes. Peace comes when you realize that your well-being is more important than their comfort, their expectations, their version of you. It's not selfish to choose peace, it's survival, it's clarity, it's strength. And the moment you stop justifying your boundaries is the moment you step into a deeper level of self-respect. You're not difficult for protecting your space. You're not cold for being unavailable to chaos. You're not wrong for not tolerating what once made you suffer silently. You're evolving. And that evolution will threaten the parts of your life that benefit from your silence, from your compliance, from your constant self-sacrifice. But let them be threatened. Because your job isn't to make others comfortable. Your job is to protect the environment where your soul can grow. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be judged. People will call you distant, harsh, or closed off. But let them misunderstand. You're not here to be decoded by everyone. You're here to be fully understood by yourself. And the more you align with that truth, the more peace stops feeling like a distant dream and starts becoming your new standard. Not perfect, not always quiet, but honest. Clean, solid. Peace isn't about escaping life. It's about facing it with grace. It's about knowing what you allow in, what you let go of, and what you hold sacred. It's built moment by moment, in small decisions that say, I choose me, even when it's hard. And those choices, stacked over time, build a foundation that nothing external can shake. You don't have to wait for everything to calm down. You don't have to control every outcome. You just have to stop inviting chaos into your space and calling it love, loyalty, or responsibility. You are allowed to be selective. You are allowed to be unavailable to anything that costs your peace. Because the moment you choose yourself fully, peace will no longer feel like a dream. It will feel like home. As you stand in your newfound peace, you'll notice others calling your life toxic because you refuse to tolerate what once destroyed you. They don't understand that toxicity is the pain of growth. When you choose rest over relentless hustle, honesty over numbing distractions, solitude over noise, you break patterns that kept you small. To them, your choices seem dangerous. To you, they feel like freedom. People will whisper that you've become selfish or ungrateful. They will question your courage. They will wonder why you walk away from roles you once accepted. But trust the shift within you. You are not selfish for defending your energy. You are not ungrateful for leaving behind relationships that drained you. You are recognizing that life aligned with your values may look jarring to those who never dared to define their own. Their discomfort reflects their own fears, not your mistakes. Walking a path that scares others is not cruelty, it's honesty. It means you are refusing to shrink your potential until it fits into someone else's expectations. It means you're replacing superficial comfort with something deeper, peace that comes from living on your terms. Every boundary you enforce, every departure you make, every choice to stop apologizing for your growth is a step toward a life that finally feels like home. Freedom often feels messy. Your schedule might no longer match social calendars. Your priorities will no longer align with agreements born from fear of conflict. That's okay. You're not building a life to fit someone else's fantasy. You are building a life that honors your truth. When you look in the mirror, you will see a person refusing to settle. You will see someone unafraid to live according to an inner compass that demands peace, purpose, and authenticity. They will call your authenticity toxic. Let them. You know the difference between self-destruction and self-respect. You know the difference between chaos that deceived you and calm that restores you. Where they see danger, you see healing. Where they see loss, you see liberation. And over time, your choices will speak louder than their judgments. Your life will become a testament to what happens when you refuse to compromise your being. Let the world label you however it wants. You know your truth and it guides you. Stay rooted in your truth even when the world tries to uproot you. Stand firm in the clarity that choosing yourself is not betrayal. It's salvation. Keep walking toward the discomfort that precedes profound change, knowing every step aligns you closer with your purpose. One day, thanks to every bold decision you made, you will wake up feeling at home in your own life. The noise will fade. The rumors will stop. Only what truly belongs will remain. And in that silence, you will realize that the life once deemed toxic is the purest expression of your freedom. Your courage to embrace what felt taboo will become the foundation of everything that makes you strong, whole, and alive. It's easy to forget that strength isn't loud. It doesn't always look like pushing harder or standing taller. Sometimes, strength looks like saying no when everyone expects you to say yes. Sometimes, it's in the quiet, unseen moments where you choose not to betray yourself just to be accepted. The world tells you to be agreeable, to be pleasant, to keep the peace even when it costs you your own. But peace without self-respect isn't peace. It's performance. And there comes a time when you must choose between fitting in and standing up for your own soul. Choosing yourself won't always feel good. It can feel like guilt, like loneliness, like fear. But discomfort is not a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's a sign that you're finally breaking patterns that were never meant to last. Growth feels unfamiliar because you've spent so long surviving through self-abandonment. Now, every time you choose yourself, you're teaching your nervous system a new story. That safety doesn't require silence. That love doesn't require shrinking. That success doesn't require sacrifice of who you really are. You don't need to apologize for having needs. You don't need to shrink your light to make others comfortable in their shadows. You don't need to dilute your power to be seen as lovable. If someone only values you when you're convenient, compliant, or easy to control, they're not seeing you, they're using you. Real love sees your full self and doesn't flinch. It doesn't punish your growth. It doesn't guilt you for having boundaries. It holds space for the messy, the evolving, the honest version of you. And if that kind of connection feels rare, it's because it is. That's why you have to become it for yourself first. Validation from others is fragile. It disappears the moment you disappoint them. But self-validation is solid. It's the unshakable truth you carry within when everything else questions your worth. And that's what you're building. Every time you stop explaining yourself, every time you trust your instincts, every time you honor your no without guilt, you are reprogramming years of conditioning that taught you to please before you speak, to bend before you break, to endure before you ask for better. You don't have to keep proving that you're enough. You already are, not because you've earned it, but because you exist. You were never meant to be everyone's version of acceptable. You were meant to be real and raw and whole. Even if that makes others uncomfortable. Even if that means walking alone for a while, that solitude will not destroy you. It will shape you. It will strip away every